Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Melffy Frogs. Now I guess both of them are kind of rank 2 spam decks, so let's see how it does. So we don't really have the greatest hand, we just kind of have the Dupe Frog, and we just have a couple of Melffys. I guess we have Fenny and Calantosa, so that works. So we do have a couple of stuff. We've set Dupe Frog, so if it ever gets beaten over, we just get a free search for Frog. We're gonna pop that Rage 0 because I don't want him to like normal summon like a level 7 and then tune it with his Lamia. So now we're gonna be he's gonna be recovering his Copernicus, but I get my Calantosa. I decide to just pop his Night Owl right there, and then he dumped a Swirl Slime. Unfortunately, he does have a Cerberus, so he can go into a Wave Caesar. I've never really seen this deck ever use this card, so we're gonna flip summon Dupe Frog just so that we can go into Toad, and we go into our end phase. I should have just attacked with the Lamia. I think I just instinctively clicked end phase, but now he uses Dark Contract of Errors, which could negate my Dynamiscus, so I just decided to use it now to banish his Caesar. Now during the start of my phase, he'll take an extra 1k, and now I will use my little Toad right there. I don't know. I just realized that Toad can send any Aqua from the hand or field, and not just himself. But I guess everybody makes that mistake. So we're gonna go ahead, activate Ronin Toadin, which will let us go into a Melffy of the Forest ? I think right here I was trying to go for a Negolagia Zeus thing. Ignore the misplays. I should have just gone for a thing right there. I think the reason why I wanted to keep excited Melffys is because I could have potentially summoned back Calantosa, but I had Melffy time, so it doesn't matter. Ignore the misplays, just ignore them, cause I'm bad at this game. So right here, I could have easily just used Ronin Toadin, gone into Nightmare Phoenix, and won. But of course we have to flex on our opponents, so we're gonna go ahead, activate Hide and Seek. We're gonna go ahead, revive, shuffle back some things, draw one, and instead of going for a Nightmare Phoenix, we will of course hurt him and then leave him there in agony. Now the thing about leaving him at 1000 life points is that if he tries to activate any DDD good effect like Gilgamesh, which can set scales from deck, or this thing which like summons a DD from a graveyard, if you try to do anything like that, he will take 1000 damage and lose. So gonna activate a gate. He's gonna normal summon Night Owl. I just chain Kathy and we'll get search for Hoppier Squadron. Now I like the way he loses, you know. I just like it. I end up negating Copernicus, and he loses on his own accord by taking 1000 points of damage of Gilgamesh. I bet that has never come up, just losing because he took damage from a DD. That is what we really call a flex, letting your opponent take care of themselves. And let's go straight to our next replay. Right here for second duel we have Mystic Mine. Yes, I'm not thrilled either. So we kind of open more of a trap type hand, and we get our puppy. Not that puppy will be that useful against Mystic Mine. He's gonna get some draws. He draws Dimension Shifter, which is useless because he has that in his hand. He sets Demise and Judgment. We're gonna be summoning a couple of stuff just for him to use Demise of the land, and I'm gonna try to Dynamiscus it, but he just uses Judgment, unfortunately. But we do have another Dynamiscus in hand, so I guess that works. I should have just overlaid into something like an Excited Melffys. Don't know why I let that happen. Okay, he's going to be summoning a Silent Wobby to my field. He's going to use Left Arm Offering to get Goddess Skull's Oracle. Unfortunately for him, I already have the Dynamiscus. So, bye-bye. And since Field Barrier stops him from activating any field spells, poor kid loses. Yep, that's the end. Let's go to our next replay. For our last replay, we have Chaos Lightsworn. Now, right here we have a Melffy hand right here. So we start off with the Rescue Cat. We activate it in order to summon out Kathy and Puppy. We're gonna overlay into Melffy of the Forest. We're gonna activate Hide and Seek, because why not? Maybe to kind of protect you from Gamma, not really. But now we're just gonna get a couple of summons during the end phase, and we pass. We have a now let's just assess our field right here. It's a very good field. We have Melffy Time, which it can act as a bounce. We have Melffy Puppy, which is a pop. We have Melffy of the Forest, another negate, and we have Imperm, another negate. So we have 2 negates, a bounce, and a pop. Very powerful. So he's gonna do some stuff. He's gonna use Chaos Space to get something. We're gonna activate summon Lumina. We're gonna go and do Calantosa, and I decided not to let that snack live either, because I don't just want him to go into like something like a Dante. So now Lumina will try to trigger, it won't. So we'll go ahead, normal summon the Rescue Cat. We can summon out some more things. We'll go ahead into an Appaloosa and we'll attack for some damage. Now we're gonna activate Melffy of the Forest to get an extra search, and I could have done probably OTK'd him that turn, but what's the fun in that? Of course we're gonna make him suffer. I could have just shuffled some cards with hide and seek, but what's the fun in that? You guys gotta learn how to have some fun, you know. So he's gonna get a snow. We're gonna pop that. He's gonna activate Photon Lead, which summons a light one, I think, and then we're just gonna be negating his right in, and he scoops. 0% chance of winning at that, of him winning that point, especially because I could have just used Hoppier Squadron to go into a Herald of the Arclight, meaning any card that goes from his deck to the graveyard is banished instead, which is the absolute bane of all Lightstorm players. So those were some replays I had. Just kind of a bit of a rank 2 spam deck. So let's go to our deck profile. So right here we have the deck. Start with 3 copies of Rescue Cat. As you can see, we do not run Obedience School because it does kind of clash with our Frog engine. 3 copies of Swap Frog. This is your main Frog engine dude. Since the deck doesn't really use its normal summon that much apart from Rescue Cat, Swap Frog is just a solid option to dump some stuff in case you don't need it. 2 copies of Melffy Pony, or even Swap Frog just gives you an extra normal summon 2, so you can just dump a frog and then normal summon Rescue Cat, which is very nice. 2 copies of Pony, 2 copies of Fenny, 3 copies of Dog, and 3 copies of Cat. That's the ratio I play it at, mainly because ponies, since the deck doesn't really send a lot of beasts to the graveyard, 2 ponies is just enough, and Fenny doesn't really generate any amount of advantage, it just goes neutral, so just 2 of that. Puppy just summons Calantosa from the deck, so that's an extra pop, and Cathy can get the search for Hoppier Squadron, which can later go into either a Barkion or an Arclight, which is very important. Wait, no, it can't go into Barkion, sorry. Barkion requires an Earth tuner. I thought it just could use any tuner. So I guess we can put in something like an access code here if you really want. So yes, ignore the Barkion. We can go into an Arclight pretty easily. 3 copies of Puppy, as I said, can summon Calantosa. So that right there, he's basically a living Trident. 3 copies of Cathy. Cathy is searches Hoppier Squadron, so you can go into an Arclight. So it's technically a mini Macrocosmos and negate in 1, but it does require you to have an extra level 2, which you can get pretty easily. 2 copies of Ronin Totem. You only really need to run 2 because you can just summon it from your graveyard as many times as you want once you send it there. The only reason why you run 2 is because sometimes if it gets something like called by the grave or DD Crowed, Ronin Totem does come in. 3 copies of Dupe Frog. The main reason for him is just as fodder for Ronin Totem. It doesn't really come up too much apart from that. Sometimes if you have a bad hand, you can just set it and then you can get search for a frog on your next turn. That's kind of slow and doesn't come up too much. 2 copies of Fenny. Also, one more thing about Dupe Frog, you can cut him down to 2 if you like. But I'm just keeping it at 3 for now, just because the fodder for Ronin Totem is just so important. 2 copies of Fenny. Fenny is summons Calantosa if you have it in your hand, and otherwise it doesn't really give you net change in card advantage, so just 2 of him. 3 copies of Melffy Tag. It's a monster reborn, you can't go wrong with that. 1 copy of Hide and Seek. It is a pot of Avarice, and it also protects all your beast monsters, which is nice. 3 copies of Imperm, just a nice hand trap to have. 3 copies of Olenoids. This is basically MST, except you can also summon it as a level 2 monster, so you can go into cards like Melffy of the Forest or totally awesome because it's an aqua type. 3 copies of Dino Miscus. It can banish a card on the field, which is also important. On top of that, once again, you can go into level 2, which can turn into Toad, or a Javelin, or even Melffy of the Forest. 3 copies of Melffy Time. This usually acts as a bounce. If you search Melffy Time off your Melffy of the Forest, in case you already have like a Melffy dog in your hand, then you can just search this. You get a bounce, a pop, and a negate with those 2 cards. 3 copies of Canadia. This is basically a free Book of Moon. On top of that, it turns into a level 2 for your rank 2 plays. For extra deck, we run 1 copy of Arclight for our Hoppier Squadron, 1 copy of Negalaja AA Zeus. The deck really does lack its offensive capabilities, so Zeus really does help with that, just blowing up the entire field on top of being a 3k beat stick. 1 copy of Toad. It's a frog deck, so you do have to play Toad. 2 copies of Excited Melffys. Excited Melffys, once again, it does boost the attack power of this deck. You probably just cut him down to 1. I don't know why I'm playing at 2, and you can maybe put in a Phoenix. I do think I'm just making these changes right here. If I can find Phoenix. Yep, just put in Phoenix instead. Just 1 Excited Melffys is enough. 1 copy of Cursed Javelin. This can turn any of your monster's attack to 0 on top of negating it, which is very nice. But apart from that, it doesn't come up. Once again, it does increase the offensive capabilities of the deck by changing the attack of something to 0. And since it attacks over it, you can turn it into a Negalaja Zeus anytime you want. 2 copies of Ronin Raccoon Sandayu. It's just good for attacking over some very big beaters. So if you have if your opponent does have like some sort of, say, Thunder Dragon Titan or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and your or if your opponent plays Chaos Max, say they have Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon on the field, you can just summon Ronin Raccoon Sandayu, make a token that copies the attack of it, and you can just crash it. Then you can attack directly with Sandayu, and then rank it up into an AA Zeus. Just comes up very often, so one of that is warranted. 1 copy of Melffy Mommy. It's not that great. It's just kind of like a Yubel, where it just makes your opponent take any damage you take, but it's not that great at all. 2 copies of Melffy of the Forest. It just searches any of your Melffys, which is very important. So you can either search Melffy of Time, which acts as a disruption, Melffy Puppy, which acts as a disruption, or if you already have both of them, you can get Melffy Catty, which can help you get a Hoppier Squadron, which goes into an Arclight, which is very nice. So Melffy of the Forest, you definitely need to play 2. For our links, you play 1 copy of Saryuja. The 1 copy of Saryuja is really if you're able to like get a lot of cards on field, and you can link climb maybe using Ronin Totem. 1 copy of Access Code, just super great in breaking boards and OTKing your opponent. 1 copy of Appaloosa, just the negates that are very useful. 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, that's nice, and just an extra spot removal. 1 copy of Phoenix. Phoenix is Phoenix, you can't go wrong with that. Sorry for a second, I thought earlier I wasn't playing Phoenix. Really, you can just put in any extra monster that you like in your other monster zone. If you have any, say, anything really, maybe you can put in extra Negalaja Zeus if you feel like it. It's honestly up to choice. So that's kind of the deck. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, as it really does help the channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.